touch the forehead and nose in the ground, will this salah be correct?
The brother asking if someone during the sujood, while you're making sujood, if you putting your forehead in the ground and your nose is not touching the ground, he's asking the salah is correct. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Umirtu an asjuda ala sab'ati ard." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Allah commanded me to make sujood upon 7 bones. Your face, your nose, and your forehead. This is 1. Both hands is 2. Both knees is 5. 2, 2, and your forehead, your nose, this is 5, and your feet. If someone purposely not touching the ground with no excuse, meaning Islamic excuse, not you make an excuse. If someone not touching the ground, his face and your nose together, purposely, his salah is nullified. His salah is not accepted. If purposely his foot, one is in the ground, one is up. Some people during the sujood, their feet is up. During the sujood, their feet is not touching the ground. And if this is purposely, the salah is nullified. The salah is not accepted. It's not valid. So you have to, your face, your nose, your hands, your knees, and your feet to touch the ground during the sujood. If there is no excuse. If there's an excuse, then we look at the excuse. What kind of excuse? If there's no excuse, purposely, is nullified the salah. The salah is not going to be valid. And this is, brothers, very, very important for everyone, because the salah, we mentioned this before many times. The salah is the most important ibadah in Islam. The top all ibadat in Islam. After shahada, the salah is top of the ibadah, the worships. And then if you not care about the salah, and if you ignore, if you not try to make it correct, Allah is not looking for you to pray. Allah is not looking for this. This is for you. You've been commanded to do it, you have to do it. If you're not doing your wajib, then even for the dunya, even your job, if you not do what is supposed to be due, they're not going to accept it. Your boss is not going to accept it. This is all we agree, even for the dunya, for small things. If your boss not allowed you to do something, if you do it, so he's going to get upset. He don't want you to do it. If he want you to do something and you ignore it, so also he's not accepted, even for the dunya. And he's a human just like you. The only thing, he's in charge. That's it. No difference between you and him. Maybe many times you better than him, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But still, because he's in charge, he's not accepting. He don't want you to do it, or he wants you to do it. So what about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He created you and He give you all this ni'mah, and He puts legislation for you. He gave you legislation, and I command you to follow it. He made it obligation to do it. And if you ignore it, then Allah will not looking for your ibadah. Your ibadah is Allah not needed. Your ibadah is for you. Our ibadat, our worship, is for us. It's not benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's for ourselves. So be careful. Make sure, be serious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's not looking for your ibadah. Be sure with that. So you in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah don't need your ibadah. When He legislated for you, He obligated upon you to do it, then try to look for the right way. Please Him. Because it's not if we look at the people right now during the salah, we see many different people, they putting their hands different ways. Many people standing different ways. Many people bending during the ruku' different ways. Not same. In sujood, not same. Somebody tight, somebody open, somebody high, somebody low. We have to check on every ibadah, every worship, to make sure please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You spend your time, coming to the masjid for the salah. And then how sad, in the end of the salah, you leaving, Allah not accepting it.
Yeah.
This is so sad. Wallahi, you coming for the salah, or we coming for the salah, and then we spend our time, and maybe hour, maybe more, and then some people go home, Allah not accept any salah from them.
Yeah.
This is Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said, the person, he prayed 40 years, Allah not accept one salah from him.
Yeah.
Because ignoring. Person came to the masjid, he prayed, and he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, go back, pray. You didn't pray. And then he went pray again, and then he came back. Same thing. He said, go back, pray. You didn't pray. And then he prayed again, he came back. And then he said, go pray. He said, Ya Rasulullah, wallahi, I don't know more than that. Please teach me. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he have him sit down and then teach him step by step. So the guy, he prayed 3 times. Front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he telling him, you didn't pray. Meaning your salah is not valid. Meaning you ignoring, you missing, ruku', sujood, whatever, he's missing. The point, some people pray, Allah not accept the salah from them. So we have to be careful, to be sure, to try your best or our best, for our salah to be accepted, and all types of worship to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Well, just related
Yes.
to salah. So sometimes we wear shirt or the jacket. So when you go to the sujood, our shirt is like we unkindly the aura come off. The aura, like the back part of the
Oh,
Because of t-shirt, because of especially t-shirt, short
t-shirt
shorts.
or
okay, brothers. Aura, aura, which is unlawful, not allowed to show for a man from belly button to his knees. If during the salah, any parts showing, again, purposely, if you don't know, Allah will forgive you, inshallah. But purposely, or the person, he ignored it, he don't care. He know during the sujood. I think I mentioned this before. I was watching a person, he was holding his shirt with one hand during the sujood, and he's making sujood. He's in sujood like this, and he's one hand pulling his, shirt to cover his butt. This is during the sujood. Every sujood he holding his, and then one hand on his shirt. So, if the person ignoring this, also does nullify the salah. If the person doesn't know, it should somebody remind him. If you see him, remind him if he accept the reminding or the advice. So otherwise, nullify the salah. If the person doesn't know, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it from him. But purposely, is nullify the salah. Okay. last week we mentioned some commandments. Who's going to share with me? Who's going to share with me with these commandments? It's very important, brothers. I told you it's very important, and we should memorize it. Because very huge commandments from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the Ummah, for us. Now we mentioned what Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, what he said. He said, whoever wants to know well of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he died, read these ayats.
قل تعالوا ألا تشركوا به شيئا
قل
وبالوالدين
تعالوا, you're missing a part.
ألا تشركوا
You're missing a part.
حرم الله قل تعالى حرم ربكم
No, you're missing a part.
قل تعالى
إلى كلمة
قل تعالى
أتلو.
قل تعالى حرم ربكم أو أتلو قل تعالى أتلو ما حرم ربكم عليكم.
Guys, you know, we need to memorize it. قل تعالوا أتلوا ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا به شيئا. قل تعالوا, we mentioned, brothers, I'm gonna repeat it again, you know, quickly, just to, you know, more, you know, to be more serious about it. And I hope everyone memorize these commandments. For everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell the people, come together, let me tell you what Allah make it unlawful for you, make it haram upon you. قل تعالوا أتلوا ما حرم ربكم عليكم. The first one, ألا تشركوا به شيئا. You do not make a partner for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first one. To not make any partner for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Worship Allah alone without any partner. The second thing,
وبالوالدين إحسانا.
he said, and be good to your parents. Be good to your parents. The third one,
ولا تقتلوا أولادكم
don't ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من إملاق. Don't kill your kids because of hunger, because of providing. ولا تقربوا الفواحش. You do not get close to the fawahish. And fawahish, anything the correct, the pure intellect rejected. This is, they call it fahisha. And fornication and adultery is also fahisha. Unlawful. So, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told them, He said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. You do not kill someone without right. And then this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to be intelligent. To be intelligent. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told them, tell them, you do not get close to the wealth of the orphans except with rights.
You're missing Abu Malik, the one harm to not be just to the even in your close relative.
This is next. Coming after. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told them, do not get close to the wealth of the orphans except with rights, meaning to benefit them. Don't get close to the wealth, meaning don't eat it, don't take it, don't touch it without rights. And rights, one of the rights, to take care of them with their wealth and to take care of their wealth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them until they get age of puberty and reliable. And then you give them back his wealth. And then He said, if you say anything, say truth. Even if against ولا وأوفوا الكيل والميزان بالقسط. don't cheat while you're selling and buying. When you're dealing with selling and buying, be just. Don't steal and don't cheat. And if you say something, say truth. Don't lie. If you witnessing, don't give the false witnessing. Say the truth. Even if it was close relative. Even was against yourself. You've been commanded to say the truth. And then you promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to worship Him alone, to follow His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to follow His religion. Don't break your promise. Keep your promise. Stay upon the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow His religion and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is the command from Allah. This is the legislation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to remember. And then this is was we mentioned last week, right?
No.
Brothers, please, again and again, I'm going to ask you to memorize these rights. This is very important for everyone in life. For every single one. This is important for every single one. How many rights?
10.
10. How many you mentioned? 9. It's 10 commandments and we mentioned 9. The first one, don't make a partner for Allah. Second one, be good to your parents. Third one, don't kill your kids because of hunger. Third one or fourth? Huh? Fourth one, don't get close to any unlawful. Anything fahisha. Don't get close to it. Number 6, don't kill anyone without rights. Number 7, don't get close to the wealth of the orphans.
Before that, don't kill anybody.
Don't kill anyone. And then don't get close to the wealth of the orphans. Number 8,
Give right
number 7,
the weight.
if you sell and buy, be just. Don't cheat. Don't steal. And then if you say anything, say the truth. If you're witnessing, don't give false witnessing. And then keep your promise. You promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to worship Him, to follow His religion, to follow His Prophet. Follow. How many is? 9. Number 10. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell the mushrikeen at that time, and this is for everyone. The reason was, people was sitting there, but it's for everyone. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, and there's some more legislations, this is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the religion of Islam. This is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the sirat al-mustaqim. فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. Follow it. And if you follow it, you will be successful. If you follow it, you will be protected. If you follow it, you're going to be helped by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you follow it, you will have mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you follow it, Allah will be pleased with you. If you follow it, you will save yourself from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you follow the religion of Allah, so you will save yourself, from the hellfire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is the right path of Allah. Follow it. Religion of Allah, the worship of Allah, the command of Allah, the Quran, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, follow what Allah command you. You will be successful. And then he said, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلِ. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلِ. What means subul? Subul, small roads around the right path. This is the right path, and there's a small roads around. He said, don't follow the small roads. Don't follow the subul. Why? Because make you separate and deviate. Make deviation and make you separate. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he in the ground, he make a straight line like this, and then he make small from this side and small roads from this side. He said, this is the right path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then these roads, these lines I make, this is the small roads. On every single road, there's a shaitan sitting. Call the people to leave the right path. You got it?
No.
He said that this is the right path. And there's a small road from the both sides. And on every single road, there's a shaitan sitting. And he tried to call people to get away from the right path. Making partner for Allah, this is the subul, sabil. Making disbelieve, anything disbelieving, this is the sabil. Any innovation, this is the sabil. This is the small road. Any interest is the sabil, is a small road. Any sin, backbiting, any cursing, any other, eating haram and saying haram and doing haram, all this, each one is the road, is the sabil, is from the subul. And the shaitan sitting, calling the people to get away from the right path. He said, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. This is the right path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follow it. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلِ. Beware to follow the small roads. فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِي. So take you away from the right path and make deviation and separation. Because any disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separate the people from each other. Any obedience to Allah bring the people together. Any disobedience, any sin, it was a major sin, a separation will be big. The gap between the people will be big. So if there's the ta'ah, there's the obedience to Allah. So more you obey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have a close relationship with the people who say upon the same path. So meaning, obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the people together and unite the heart of the people. Unite the face of the people. And disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separate the heart of the people. They separate the face of the people from each other. That's why we see majority people don't trust each other. Majority. Why? Because we have a problem with worship. That's why. We have a problem in worship, obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of this, people not unite from the heart. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned how He united between the heart of the companion. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala united their hearts, they was dying for each other. Now today, we have no ability. If you have a problem or try to run away from you, this is the situation. This is the reality. People run away from each other. Brotherhood in Islam, you should not allow your brother to ask you for help. You should follow his situations to know everything about him. When you see he in need, you help him without not put him in a position to ask you. To not make him down. Keep his honor up. When you know someone in need, don't let him to ask. Don't let him to ask. Go help him without asking if you need anything. Because sometimes we hear, if you need anything, please let me know. If you need anything, please let me know. Brothers, there's a story happened with myself. I'm not going to mention the name, even maybe brother he see the speech because he's online live. It was in a different city. I'm not going to mention more, but it was a different city. He used to tell me almost every time he see me, he repeat almost this close to the same sentence. You know, he used to say, Sheikhna, you know, please, if you need, you know, I have from $1,000 to $50,000. I don't need it. Please let me know if you need any help. Almost every salah, almost every time he see me, almost. So one day it came to my mind. I said, you know, let me see. You know, he always tell me he's bothering me. Let me tell him I need some money. So I said, you know, brother, I need $5,000. I hope, you know, if he see the video, you know, I'm not mentioning his name, you know, to not, you know, take it like, make him upset or something, because I'm not mentioning any name. So I said, I need a $5,000. After he mentioned, he said, you know, please, I'm telling you, from $1,000 to $50,000, I don't need it. It's just sitting there, I don't need it, please. So one day I said, you know, I need a $5,000. So he said, you know, when? I said, anytime. So okay. So he came back, you know, the day after, or a couple days after, you know, to be sure about the, you know, about the time. So he saw me. I don't know, was purposely or he tried to avoid to not come close to me. And then, so after a couple days, I don't know, few days. So I met him face to face. What happened, brother? He said he tried to make some excuses. And then after a couple days, after a few days, after a week, I don't know, I forget, this is a long time ago. So after some time, he came up with $500. I said, brother, wallahi, I don't need anything. You've been telling me almost 2-3 years. Almost every single day you telling me the same sentence. So I just ask you, you know, because of, you know, you asking me, you keep telling me. Now you coming, all this time you telling me, you know, now you came up with the $500, and you telling me from $1,000 to $50,000, you know, if you, so the brotherhood is way bigger than this. So anyway, the ta'ah, the obedience of Allah, unite the heart of the people. Disobedience, you know, separates the heart of the people. And then he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَعَلَّكُمْ وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. This is the right path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Allah mentioned, the major legislations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the ayah, and also there's more. So this is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the Islam. So فَاتَّبِعُوهُ, follow it. And don't follow the small roads because cause deviations and separations. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the end, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. If you really follow Islam, then you're going to be pious. You're going to be among the pious. So this is, you know, for you to be pious. If you follow the legislation, create fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. And every time create fear in your heart, you're more humble and you're more close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're more gentle, more nice, and more down for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we have a hadith after this ayah. We have a hadith, Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, radiyallahu anhu wa arda, he narrated a hadith. He said, كنت رديف النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم على حمار فقال لي يا معاذ أتدري ما حق الله على العباد وما حق العباد على الله؟ قلت الله ورسوله أعلم. قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم حق العباد على الله أن يعبدوه ولا حق الله على العباد أن يعبدوه ولا يشركوا به شيئا وحق العباد على الله أن لا يعذب من لا يشرك به شيئا. قال أفلا أبشر الناس؟ قال لا تبشرهم فيتكلوا. This hadith is a beautiful hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. First thing, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he narrated a hadith. He said, one day, I was riding a donkey with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing, showing is allowed for a person to ride a donkey, from a place to another place. So it's allowed that. This is allowed in Islam. Okay. And also allowed for two people riding the donkey in one time. So this the hadith is a proof for this. Third thing or benefit of the hadith, the place of Mu'adh to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's riding with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sticking, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How close to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Right? So showing his place to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How close his to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then also showing the humbleness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's able to have a better rider, camel, horse, not a donkey, but showing the humbleness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he said, he asked me, he said, do you know the right of Allah upon the people? The way Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he asked Mu'adh, if you know, to make him pay more attention. No, I don't. So if he just say it, he may not pay attention as he did after he said, if you know the right of Allah. No. So now he pay attention more after he heard that from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you know the right of Allah upon the people, and then also if you know the right of people upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, I don't. He said, I don't. He said the right of Allah upon the people to worship Him alone without making any partner. And then the right of the people upon Allah, if they worship Allah alone without any partner, so Allah not punish them in the day of judgment. And then he said, should I go tell the people? So go as a good news. He said, no. Don't tell the people because they're going to rely on this and they're going to leave, other worships. So there's a narration mentioned that Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, he mentioned the hadith before he died. Ta'athuman, meaning he's scared to be, to be asked for it, charged for it. Because we have a hadith that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Man katama ilman ألجمه الله برجام من النار يوم القيامة. Whoever hiding a knowledge from the people, Allah will roll him in the hellfire because of this. So he's scared to be charged for it, to be punished for it. So he mentioned a hadith before he died.
I think the answer for Muaz ibn Jabal said that he don't say that I don't know. He said that Allah and Allah Rasul knows better.
This is a nice point, the brother, he pointed to it. Sahaba, the Sahaba of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companion, radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he asked them question, even if they know, respect for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to say, Allah and His Messenger knows. Even if they know the answer, they not answer. They respect for the Prophet. They have a respect for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They used to say, Allah and His Messenger knows. So there's something, the first part and second part. The right of Allah to be worshipped without any partner. Right of the people. That the people have a right upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people have no right. This is the fadl from Allah. This is the blessing of Allah. He gives this right to the people. So the worship, let's talk about the hadith specific. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, if they worship Allah alone without any partner, Allah will not punish them. Doesn't mean one by one. This is one and this is one. واحد مقابل واحد. No, this is, the right of Allah upon the people is obligation. We have to do it. No choice. And then our right, Allah, He give it to Himself. Allah, He make it upon Himself to not punish the people. It's not because of one. If you do one, He give you one. No. This is this right. Allah give it to the people. This is the fadl of Allah. This is the blessing. This is the mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives us this right to not punish us. If we worship Allah alone without any partner. So meaning, we don't have a right. We don't have a right upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah, as a mercy, He give it to us. As a fadl, blessing, He give it to us. Any question, brothers? Who? Ramadan.
No, never mind. I didn't have a question.
He's afraid to ask question, Malik. Just
Jazakallah khair.
Ramadan. Go for it, please.
It's okay.
He's afraid.
Any question, brothers? Yes, brother.
May I ask this? So you mentioned that Allah doesn't need our ibadah,
Yes.
but we need Allah. Of course, we need Allah. There is no. But you also there is this ayah, right, about the creation of us by Allah, where it says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhan nasu ubudu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So there, Allah is saying that Allah created us to worship Him only, right? So there is when you say Allah doesn't need our ibadah, Allah created us for doing the ibadah for Him, right? So isn't that a little bit contradictory there?
I think if I get the question, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He legislate a worship for us to do it, doesn't mean He need it. It's for us to see who's going to obey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who's not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa al-ghani.
So you are.
You know, we read almost every day, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. What's the meaning of as-samad?
Allah is independent. He doesn't need
Yeah, he's
anything
independent.
from you.
Allah doesn't need anything, anyone in the in this universe. And meaning Allahu Samad, meaning everything in this universe in need of Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He legislates a worship upon us, for us, not for Him. He not in need. If all, we have a hadith. لو أن إنسكم وجنكم كانوا على أتقى رجل منكم ما زاد في ملك شيئا. This is a hadith قدسي. ولو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم كانوا على أفجر رجل منكم ما نقص من ملك شيئا. There's a hadith قدسي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, if the mankind and jinn, from the beginning to the end, all together, if they become as the best person upon the earth, doesn't increase by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything. If all from the beginning, mankind and jinn, from the beginning to the end, if they all become a worse person, doesn't decrease from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. Nothing. Because Allah completes. Allah not in need of worship or ibadah or anything. Allah is complete. But anything He legislates for us is for us. Barakallahu fikum. Further.
So, earlier you were talking about not taking any deviation, right? And we were talking about a couple weeks ago, the janazah for Muhammad, and how you said it's not permissible to put flowers, right, when somebody's dying. My question is also, I have another question about the janazah. How many times are you supposed to wrap a person that passes away? What's the rules on that?
3 pieces. 3 pieces. The kafan, you're talking about the kafan, right?
The white cloth?
Yeah,
The white cloth?
Yeah, the white cloth.
3 pieces.
What if in a situation you don't have 3 in a situation?
2. If you have no 2, 1. If no one with any leaves anything, cover his back. So, you know, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. But the sunnah, 3 pieces. Yes, brother.
Maybe you already clarified it, but in that hadith it says that if someone is on tawheed without doing shirk, it's Allah's mercy on him that He will protect him from punishment. So if someone says, okay, I don't have to pray because I believe in tawheed, how does it work then?
If the person is over,